question is, when you first started working with the sticks and knives, how old were you?
I start when 12 years old. My first teacher is my father, and I play Largomano.
Can you tell please what pushed you to start working with the knife and sticks?
I studied that because before that is the how to defend the family and uh, to myself also and my friends and the whole family member. That's why I learned. That is the martial art of the Filipino since beginning, but it different style.
Could you mind to share with us your own system that you are teaching?
Uh, my father teach me before the how to handle the long stick and long bolo and how to defend and how to counter and how to attack. But not all he teach to me because the time is very limited. And before our martial art is secret. Only the teach the even though I am her son, they teach me in a secret way, not like today that even though many people say they can teach, but before no. So some of his technique I did not what could I see is I did not take it before.
Tapos yung Espada Hidaga Master.
Espada Idaga, I learned it. I Espada Idaga, I learned it from my grandmaster Bin Lona, and I like the system because it was the lot of what we call this ang kwan ang lahat na mga palo ay malakas at saka ang lahat na sistema halos nandoon na pwede sa long range, medium range, and then close range. So all of that is in the system of Espada Idaga.
Okay, so he learned two major styles. One from his father, which we call Largomano, long range. His father taught him how to strike, how to block, and how to counter with the long stick and the long blade. However, he did not learn everything because at that time he says that the teaching was very secretive. So even if it was from his father and he was the son, the entire system was not taught to him. So he only got very little. Then eventually he learned the second major style, which is what he teaches, called Espada Idaga, which means sword and dagger, from Grandmaster Ben Luna. And he liked very much Espada Idaga because he feels that it has or it's applicable in all ranges, long, medium, and short. And all strikes have full power all the time. So he felt very confident with that style. And that is the style that he teaches today.
Can you tell please, how do you start teaching? Can you tell first 5 steps that you start teach your students?
The lesson before we start is we have also to stick technique to operate with toe stick because that is the first time that your body will be in a what we call this in a yung para yung katawan pati yung paa at saka kamay kasi nagtatrabaho pareho yon tapos at kinakailangan ang mechanics noon yung body language ay masanay para doon sa technique na pagsisimulan, pag-aral. So, ang ginagawa namin, sinasanay namin sa two-stick technique para ang lahat ng katawan, pati paa, pati ang leg ay masanay gumalaw o kumilos.
Right. So when there's a new student, the first thing we teach them is a double stick technique, which is handling two sticks or two blades of equal length. The reason for this is so that from the very beginning, they learn how to coordinate their body. Everything from the legs to the hands to the hips, from the head to the toe, you teach the student very early on how to move that in one motion to deliver strikes that are powerful, that are fast. So before we teach them any of the other techniques, we make them hold two equal canes or sticks so that they know how to maneuver left and right from the beginning.
Can you please tell, is it important to have psychological preparation before the person start working with the sticks and knives?
Natural, importante yun kasi kinakailangan ang mentalidad mo ay nakapokus para madali mong makuha. Pagkatapos, kinakailangan nakapokus ka sa ituturo sa iyo kasi napakadaming ituturo. Una lang nga yan, parang simula lang yan para yung iyong katawan at ay gumalaw lahat sang-ayon doon sa ituturo sa kanya ng single stick at saka yung blade, yung weapon na blade, and then yung footwork kasi hindi kami umaatras. Ang atras namin ay kaliwat kanan lang sa tagiliran. Tapos ang footwork, kinakailangan pagpalo ay kasabay ng iyong maniobra ng katawan para malakas ang palo at saka ang depensa ay matibay.
Okay. So mental preparation is a big part. It's what we start with every time we hold either the stick or the blade because we emphasize the entire body moving in one movement, in one flow. So it's very important for the practitioner to focus for their safety and the safety of the training partner also. And it's also because there are so many aspects to the movement. When you swing, for example, the blade, it is not just your hands, it is the footwork, it is your hips. So mental preparation has to be the first thing there. So in order for the student to move correctly.
How do you think, why people start to learn stick fighting or knife fighting?
Gusto nila mag-aral kasi nakita nila na talagang tama naman na pangdepensa sa kanyang mismong sarili, sa kanyang pamilya, sa kanyang kaibigan, at ang karagdagan pa ay para, lalo na sa estudyante, para yung iyong utak ay magiging mabilis, pati ang reflex ng iyong katawan ay magiging mabilis kumilos, may action ka agad, kahit konti lang na galaw, ay mayroong sagot ang iyong kilos, lalo na kung mga emergency, lalo na kung ikaw ay medyo hinahold up o hinaharas ng mga tao, lalo na sa kalye.
In our experience, I think students tell us that they really like to learn the system because they know that it's an effective method for protection, either for themselves, their family, and all that. And also, it's mental training. It trains you to react very fast. And should something happen, for instance, whether it's a robbery or something bad happens, they find that it's a system they can trust that actually works, that is tested. And so, despite the evolution, it turning into a sport and all that, at least in our experience, most of our students primarily still study it because of the original intention, which is a self-defense system. and as a mental exercise for them as well as physical.
So we know that there are different types of the Filipino martial arts. It is Kali, Silat, Arnis, and Eskrima. Can you please share your system is different from these four main types of the Filipino martial arts?
Ang sistema namin ay traditional espada idaga. So, pag ikaw nag-aral, pag ang hawak mo ay stick o saka dagger, ang toro ay naiiba doon sa ang hawak mo. Kung tawagin sa amin ang bulo o itak at saka may daga ay naiiba ang toro. At pati ang pag-practice, pagdepensa, pag-atake ng kalaban ay magkakaiba. Pero ang lahat na galaw ng sistema namin ay nakatuon sa kilos ng kalaban, kung ano yung kilos niya. Gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, pwede kami sa long range maglaro, pwede kami sa medium range maglaro, pwede rin kami maglaro lalo sa short range. Kasi yun yung sistema ng espada idaga na itinuturo namin. Kaya paggalaw ng kalaban ay alam na namin kung ano yung, kasi nga ulitin ko, may mga metodo kami na tinatawag, 12 metodo yung tinuturo namin. May mga metodo kami na kung makita namin kung ano yung galaw ng kalaban, ay may metodo kaming pang-kontra o pang-depensa doon o pang-atake sa kanyang gagawin sa amin. Kaya ang long range at saka medium range at saka short range ay nandoon lahat nakapaloob sa aming sistema.
Okay, so we belong technically with the terms that you mentioned. We belong in Eskrima primarily because the originator of the style hailed from the Visayan province, and that was the common name of the systems that was used in that area. So we are technically, the name of the style is Espada Idaga Eskrima, which is a traditional system. What differentiates us is that we have two training methodologies. We have a different training methodology if you are holding a stick, which is an impact weapon, and we have a different training methodology when we use a blade, which is an edge weapon. The reason for this, the principles are the same, but there are slight differences because we want to maximize the weapon. There are some things that you can do with a blade that you cannot do with a stick, and vice versa. So we train those two in a slightly different way. Also, what differentiates us is that we are intuitive to the opponent. What does that mean? We move depending on what the opponent gives us, which is why Grandmaster was making emphasis on the ranges of combat, long range, medium range, and short range, so that we can play on all ranges. We have 12 methods, for instance, in the system, and in that 12 methods, we have a response for when the encounter is in long, medium, or short range.
You mentioned that you have certain methodology of teaching. Can you please share about this methodology?
Ang kagandahan kasi ng metodo, dahil yung 12 metodo na yon, pag nalaman mo, pagka nakuha mo na at napag-aralan mo na makagalaw ka na tama sa bawat metodo na yung ginagalawan, ay binabalikan namin yung metodo. Halimbawa, method number 1, binabalikan namin yon para ituro kung paano namin gamitin, kung paano gamitin sa tunay na labanan. Kasi pagka yung metodo na tinuro ay may mga evaluation o may pagbabago kung paano gamitin sa tunay na laban, at ang bawat galaw doon ay mayroong kunting pagbabago, yung nga tinatawag namin na papunta na sa advanced technique. So, mabilis, malakas, at may mga galaw na kung alam mo na lahat yon, kung ano yung galaw ng ng kalaban o ng opponent ay kusang lumalabas kasi nga saluado mo yung metodo. Pero pagkatapos unang-una, bago lang kami makalimutan, siyempre itinuturo namin yung 14 na palo kung saan tumatama sa katawan ng kalaban. Nasa tamang posisyon, may mga rinses na tama yung galaw, tama yung kilos, tama yung maniobra ng kaliwat kanan. Kasi nga, mayroon kaming tinatawag na sigida, napaka-importante yun sa tunay na labanan at saka sa tunay na mga enkwentro.
So the method really is a curriculum. So we have 12 methods and we have 14 different strikes. The way we teach that is as a basic level so that every student has a standard so that once they master and practice that, they can move on to the advanced levels, which is a free flow. No set pattern, no steps, no procedures. But before they get there, they need to build their instinct, and the instinct is built on the 12 methods and the strikes that the basic strikes that are taught. So there are 14 basic strikes and 12 methods, which train everything from coordination of body and hand to your mental focus, your targeting, and all that, so that when it comes to a real fight and you are surprised by the movement of the opponent, which can be anything really, then those instincts kick in. That's where the basic methods are useful, or that's what they are there for. It's important that once you learn those basic methods, then you already have an answer for everything that is thrown at you, but you don't have time to think in a real fight. So you drill that, you practice that over and over again so that when something comes out, then it just comes out naturally. Your response comes out naturally.
Today we have such a situation when, for example, one person, he is going to the gym for 5 years and he is practicing there and he is pretty good there, but when he faced real situation on the street, he doesn't know what to do, he just run away or he just freeze at this moment. How do you think, why does it happen?
Kasi hindi naman lahat na nag-aaral ay may lakas ng loob. O di kaya, yung kanyang pinag-aaralan ay wala siyang kumpiyansa na kaya niyang ipagtanggol yung kanyang sarili doon sa kanyang pinag-aaralan. Pero sa ano namin, sa sistema namin, ang masasabi ko lang, lahat naman na mga estudyante ko, lalo na mga professional, kagaya nito ni Art, ay isang professional din at isang businessman. So, namimili din sila ng talagang totoong kayang ipagtanggol yung kanilang sarili sa lahat ng oras at sandaling kailangan para magamit yung kanyang pinag-aralan kagaya nga ng eskrima. Depende yun kasi may mga nag-aral sa ibang sistema na parang wala silang tiwala kasi kung minsan na ituturo kagaya ng sports, may mga hindi talaga rapat-dapat na iharap, lalo na sa ibang sistema na may nalalaman din. Pero yung sa amin, garantisado ko na at nasubukan na rin sa sarili kong buhay kung paano ko nagawa at naipagtanggol yung aking sarili na walang kumbaga, walang sugat ako at hindi naman ako kasi klaseng tao na magiging kriminal at kung gusto ko talaga siyang medyo tapusin ay saglit lang.
Okay, so first, Grandmaster points out that not everybody who studies the eskrima or martial arts in general really has that emotional preparedness for conflict. And the second part, that's on the student side. And on the system side, he emphasizes that a lot of the students and sometimes instructors don't have that trust in their system. So sometimes it's because he mentions that sometimes because the evolution of the art has turned it into a sport, which is of course which has its place, which is also good. But when it comes to certain applications, there are some things that are trained as sport that does not translate into the real encounter or a real fight or trouble. Also, he says that um, he has complete trust in the system because he has used it to defend his life already a number of times when he was younger. So that translates into how he teaches the art. It's still very combat oriented, which is why even if your students are professionals, businessmen, and so on and so forth, they can still get that mindset because of how you train the system. You have trust in the system, and you test the system, and you have that orientation every time you do a technique. So emotional preparedness is one thing, technical proficiency is the other, and if you are able to make those two meet, then you have a system that you can trust with your life.
Can you please share, do you have certain criteria according to which you can understand who is the real master and who is not real master?
Magandang tanong. Kasi, aminin ko sa inyo, dito rin sa Pilipinas, ay marami na yung nagpapanggap na mga master or may tinatawag pa ng grandmaster. Pero, yung kahit na kunting kakayahan lang nila, kunting pag-aaral lang nila, at tapos medyo na-modified nila ng konti, ay nagpapakilala na sila may gawa, master na sila, grandmaster, buwabayad. Pero kaming mga medyo matagal na nag-aral at may karanasan, ay sa tingin pa lang namin, pagkilos pa lang ng isang nagpapanggap, ay alam na namin kung saan siya nanggaling, kung ano yung ginawa niya, kung ano yung ginagawa niya, at napakadaling, pagka medyo sinusubukan mo ng medyo malalim-lalim na mga palo o di kaya mga question, ay hindi na niya masagot. So, napakahirap din naman. Pero, lalo mga foreigner naman ngayon, ay kahit na galing dyan sa bansa ninyo, ay marurunong na rin kasi alam naman nila kung sino yung nagpapanggap at kung sino yung totoo at kung sino naman talaga yung dapat nilang puntahan. Alam ko rin hanggang ngayon na yung nanggagaling dyan bago pumunta ng Pilipinas ay alam na nila kung sino yung kanilang pupuntahan. Malamang, isa na rin ako doon sa kanilang hinahanap. Bagamat kung minsan ay may marami ring buwablak kasi hindi ko alam kung ano yung dahilan, pero nangyayari yan sa ngayon.
Well, first, he says that's a very good question. And he does recognize that nowadays, there are a lot of people who claim to be masters, some even grandmasters. And what these people do sometimes is that they learn from a teacher, and then they change just a little bit, nothing substantial about the system, but they change it just a little bit, just so they can call the system their own. They can call it as their original system, and so they become a grandmaster by default because they changed it a little bit. And so that's the current climate of the Filipino martial arts, even here locally. However, for people like Grandmaster Bert, who has been doing this for literally his entire life, it is still very easy for him to spot somebody who knows and who does not know what they're talking about. Usually, this comes in movement because that's one thing you cannot cheat. When you move, people will really see if you know something or you do not. Also, when you ask them deeper questions on how to counter certain techniques and so on and so forth, then you get to discover how deep their knowledge is of the system or of combat, really. Also, he mentions that for a lot of the foreigners, like people coming from your country and other countries as well, the people who visit the Philippines aren't beginners anymore. they've already studied a little bit, whether it's Filipino martial arts also or some other form of martial art, whether it's an Asian form or a Western form of martial art. So when they go here, the principles are the same, movement is the same, so they get to judge very easily who really knows their stuff and who doesn't. In fact, it's happened, Grandmaster was mentioning, that some foreigners go here looking for him, but maybe they couldn't find him or he's not as accessible. So they end up with another teacher that claims they know the same thing and all that stuff. And yet, despite that, people know the difference and they still try their best to reach out to him, and people like him who are also legitimate grandmasters of doing this a while. And so eventually, what he's trying to say is that eventually the truth really does come out. You cannot cheat your way into it for long. You will be found out. And when that happens, then the student finds the master that they're looking for.
Tell me, please, how do you think, what pushed the person to start teaching martial arts, Filipino martial arts?
Again, magandang question. Kasi, pagka ikaw ang isang tao na mahilig sa martial art, hindi lang makakatulong sa sarili mo, kundi makakatulong din sa kapwa mo at makakatulong din sa mga komunidad na kailangan nila ang isang martial art artist. Pero depende sa itinuturo. Ang itinuturo kasi namin kung bago kami magturo ay pinaalala namin sa kanila na ang aming itinuturo ay masyadong deadly. Hindi pwedeng i-demo ng pag ganun lang kasi nga napakadelikado lalo na sa mga bata. Kasi sa aming sistema ang pag saglit lang ay medyo makakadisgrasya ka at saka isa pa talaga diyan. Pero pinaalala ko lang na ang martial art ay hindi para pumatay o di kaya para sa akin ang martial art ay isang paraan para kagaya nga ngayon na-interview niyo ako na kung wala yung martial art na yon ay hindi niyo ako na-interview. Pangalawa, para yung kaisipan, yung galaw ay magiging mabilis yung dating lalo na kung ikaw ay businessman kasi nga ang lahat ay gumagalaw sa aming sistema kaya napakabilis ng iyong kaisipan na makasagot ka agad o di kaya makakilos agad kasi nga parang nag-exercise na rin yung iyong body movement, yung iyong utak at panghuli na lang siguro at hindi naman panghuli ay malakas magkaroon ng mga kaibigan kagaya ko. Hindi naman ako marunong mag-English ay nakilala ko kagaya ninyo, kagaya ni Art na isang professional at isang businessman, samantalang ako ay isang mahirap na farmer lang, pero dahil lang sa arnis na tama na yung pagturo ay nagkakilala kami. Kaya para sa akin, yung 4 siguro na prosedyo, huli na lang yung para pumatay ng tao na kung tutusin ay saglit lang ay makakadisgrasya ka. Kaya maingat din ang pagtuturo. Pero ang una talaga diyan para magkaroon ng maraming kaibigan, magkaroon lalo na kung ikaw ay businessman o nag-aaral ay mapabilis yung kilos, bilis ng utak mo at saka magkaroon ka ng kaibigan na mga kumbaga medyo hindi mo makikilala kung hindi mo alam yung itinuturo mo o di kaya hindi nila kailangan yung tinuturo mo dahil sa layo nga ng agwat, isang mayaman, isang mahirap, kaya napakalayo, kaya nga ang eskrima ay isang dahilan. Nakilala ko yung aking interpreter ngayon na kung hindi sa arnis, malamang hindi kami magkakakilala.
Okay, so he answered it for himself personally why he decided to teach eskrima. and he said that in the beginning it was really for self-defense, and he knows that if he learns something of value, then he would like the people that are close to him to learn it as well. So his friends, his family, and so on and so forth. And through the years, the reasons have added. For instance, one of the things that he is very grateful for teaching is that it has opened the door for him to meet different sorts of people. Grandmaster Bert considers himself a simple farmer, and he says that because of Eskrima, he's met people like you. People like you are interviewing him right now to get to know what he knows. People like me as well, who come from the city, and so on and so forth. And he also gives a caveat, he also gives a warning that as he teaches, also, he's very aware of the seriousness of what we are teaching, that there is a necessity to teach it correctly, and also to make sure that his students do not misuse the knowledge. Because if all you wanted to do was to do harm, then it's very easy with this sort of system. But he emphasizes that there are so many more advantages to learning the system than just hurting somebody. It's for friendship, it's for self-preservation, it's for opening doors and meeting new people. And so through the years, that is what teaching the system has given him. In the beginning, it was really just so that he can protect himself. But through the years, he has been an ambassador of the system, and he has met everybody, interesting people, because of it.
What you can recommend to the people that just decided to start working with a knife and with the sticks?
Siguro ang maipapayo ko sa kanila, hanapin nila yung tunay na maestro, yung tunay na sistema, yung tunay na magtuturo sa kanila ng tapat, at ang tunay na ang lahat na nalalaman ay may tuturo sa kanila ng tama. Pero ang una pang gagawin ay kinakailangan ituro din sa kanila na huwag gamitin sa masama, at yan ay napakadelikadong bagay na dapat ingatan din. Kasi nga, gagaya nga ng sinabi ko kanina, kung ako yung tatanungin, seconds lang kung gusto mong pangit bigkasin na makapatay, pero kung kinakailangan ay dapat din naman gawin para maipagtanggol yung sarili at ang pamilya, lalo na siguro kung yung minamahal mo sa buhay ay kanilang inaapi. So, ang dapat nilang gawin, hanapin nila yung totoo na makapagbigay payo sa kanila at maitama yung mga dapat na gawin. Kagaya nga lang sa amin, medyo may katagalan siguro ituro dahil kasi nga yung 12 metodo ay may kanya-kanyang pamaraan yan, at yung 14 na palo ay may kanya-kanyang target yan. Ayan ay nagkukumbine pagdating doon sa medyo advanced technique, at napakadali mong mag-disarma at ng isang tao, o di kaya ay napakadali mong maigupo yung iyong kalaban kahit na siya ay malaki.
So, first, Grandmaster says that students should really try their best to find a good teacher. And by a good teacher, what he means is that, first and foremost, somebody who teaches them how serious the art is. Somebody who is not just out there to teach them how to hurt, how to kill, for instance. He says, for example, that although our system can do that it wouldn't take very long for us to actually inflict harm, that it is very important that students understand that that is not the purpose of the art. Also, he advises students to really take their time with it, because I think what he's trying to say is that it is very easy to feel confident about what you know because you're swinging a weapon. and even somebody who is not trained swings a knife or a sword, feels like he is very empowered. But the real system comes from diligent practice, years of practice. Like for instance, the 12 methods that we teach, and other systems have their own progression as well. So he emphasizes that it is very important that the student takes their time to really understand the intricacies. Nowadays, it's very popular to learn as many styles or systems as you can. The problem with that, although that is good, the problem with that is if the student um, skips over studying a system very diligently and tries to understand it and just tries to collect uh, certificates or belts or something like that. So he tells them to find a good teacher because that is a necessity for you to learn fundamental knowledge and also to take your time in trying to learn the system.
Can you share more about your own system? What distinguish your system from others?
Kung minsan may mga sistema din na parang pareho. Kagaya halimbawa ng pag sinabi mong dublete, it's double-double. Dublada, magkaiba. Dublete, left and right, medyo mahinang palo. Pag gumamit ka ng dublada, yun yung nakakaiba, malakas. Mas malakas doon sa dublete, mas malakas yung dublada. At yan ay kung hindi ka mag-aaral, ang tingin mo parang pareho. Pero pagka ikaw nag-aaral, malalaman mo na yung dublada ay mas malakas doon sa dublete. Pero kung titingnan mo yung anggulo, parang pareho. Kagaya ng halimbawa, yung parang left and right strike. Kung titingnan mo, kung hindi ka nag-aaral, parang pareho lang. Pero yung strike number 1 ay may target, strike number 2 ay may target din. Pero pag inupilit mo, parang pareho lang yung target, pero magkalayo. At yun ay nakakaiba doon sa iba, lalo na sa mga yung titingin-tingin lang na hindi nag-aral. At pangalawa, yung footwork, yung tinatawag namin sigida ay napaka-importante, lalo na kung may hawak ka pang kutsilyo o di kaya dagger, ay napaka-importante, kaya nga nakakaiba dahil kasi nga kung paano gamitin yung tinatawag namin sigida na siyang ilang kailangan para ikaw ay makaabot sa kanya. Kagaya nga ng halimbawa, ginamitan kita ng inupinan kita ng dublete o tawagin sa Bisaya rapilon, sa aming dialect rapilon, at pagka nandito ay dublete kung tawagin nila, at pagpasok mo ay gamitan kita ng dublada, malalaman mo na iba yung lakas. So yun siguro yung nakakaiba sa iba, pati nga ang palo namin ay diretso, hindi mayroon din kaming half strike, pero dalawang klase din yung half strike. Isa na pangganti, patama, at ang pangalawa na half strike ay para yung palo mong malakas ay pagka nagamitan ng may sistemang half strike ay hindi makarating ng malakas, lalo na kung ikaw ay nagdidipinsa. At yan ay aprobado kung ituturo sa iyo ng tama.
Okay, so what Grandmaster is emphasizing, that the problem is when you watch a video or you look at pictures, a lot of the systems look the same. There are only a finite way that you can swing the sword. So most of the Filipino systems, they use the same terminologies for certain movements. But what differentiates one system from the other, including our own, is the quality of the movement. So if you noticed, if you play back, he kept on repeating two terms, the doblete and the doblada. Now, if you look at it on a video or the picture, those two movements look exactly the same. But it's only when you are trying to block the strike that you feel the difference between the two. So, for instance, something as simple as a half strike. There's a half strike that is meant to be a block and a half strike that is meant to be a strike. But if you look at it from afar, or if you don't have any background in it, it looks exactly the same. So our system really, he was mentioning about the footwork, the sigida. One quirk of the Espada Idaga system is it is very mobile. The reason for that is because we are always using two weapons of different lengths. One is a long sword and one is a knife. So, in order for us to use those two tools equally, 100% on both, we have to keep on moving because the range always changes. The range to use the long sword is different from the range to be able to use the knife effectively. So, he answered the question in two parts. One is each system, the main difference is the quality of the movement, and ours included. We have a particular quality when we do it. The other one is for Espada Idaga in particular, that he says that one of the things that distinguishes Espada Idaga, our system, is how we move with it. Because the purpose is, as far as tactical application is concerned, the purpose is to be able to use the long sword and the dagger at the same time, equally effective. Because if you don't use footwork, you'll only be playing in the range of the long sword and your knife will be useless. If you play on the range of the knife, then your long sword might be too tight, or it might be too tight. So you have to learn how to maneuver in and out, side to side, so that both weapons are always effective 100%.